Are we live? Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Ready, Freddie? I see from Karen. I'm ready, Freddie, too. Sorry that I was a couple minutes late. It's been a little bit of a fun day here, chasing my tail a little bit. But I'm so happy to see you. Welcome to May AroMagic. We have a lot to talk about tonight. So let me just kind of update my feed here. I can see you. Oh, great. You guys are here and you're excited too. I am excited. I've got my tea. I usually try to put it in a mug, so I'm not advertising a particular tea company. I need it real bad. I need that caffeine. Hi. It's actually been a nice day. It's just been a busy day. It's been a busy week. There's a lot of things happening around here and behind the scenes, and so I've been very busy. But it's moments like this, and it's preparing for the classes for me that, to be honest with you, when I prepare and I go back and I really prep and I go through my notes and do my research and everything, it's really fun for me because it brings me back. Like, why do we do this? Why do we love these oils? Why do we love these herbs? And we do this and we love these oils. I'm sorry, there's something in my eye. We do this and we love these oils and we love these herbs because we've been using them for thousands of years. We really, really have. That's better. I was really having a situation here. We've been using them for thousands of years, and our ancestors used them. Your grandmothers and great-grandmothers have used these herbs and these oils. And so when we come back to them, oh, thanks you guys for noticing my damn bright. When we come back to them, we're reminded. And one of the things I want to talk about, were you guys on the live today that I did in AroMagic? I went live in our group today just to kind of talk about the June tools because I'm super excited about June. I'm going to be super excited every month because here's the thing. I'm not teaching you about anything unless it's pretty flipping great. So please always know that my enthusiasm is very genuine. If you think about it this way, I only have you for a year. Actually, I only have you for 11 months. I don't even have you for a full year. We're done at the end of December. And if you think about it this way, so I only have 4, aside from bonus tools and stuff, in the primary classes, I'm teaching you about 4 herbs and oils a month for 11 months. I only really get to put about, a few dozen oils and herbs in front of you this year. And so for me, it was this process of like, how do I choose? It's like, how do I make choices between, I want you to have everything. And so it's like, how do I choose what we're going to do this year? And I don't think we're going to do the classes like this next year. So it makes it really special. But it also, I will tell you, puts a little pressure on me because I want you to have the best of the best. I want you to look back on this year and I want you to think a couple things. I want you to think, gosh, I learned a lot, and I want you to think, you know what? I took charge of my health this year in 2017 in a really natural way. You're watching me do it. I've lost about 26 pounds in the last 12 months, and I've done it completely naturally, and without even modifying my lifestyle all that much. But I haven't used a single, and I'm serious about this, I haven't used a single supplement or program. I'm not on a diet program. I'm moving and exercising, but nothing too crazy. I've had no outside help with my own transformation. It's energetic and it's natural, and I gave myself a year. Now, if you want to lose 26 pounds in a couple of months, you're going to have to do something unnatural. I hate to tell you this, but you're going to have to go see a doctor, or something. But if you give yourself a year to transform your body, I can personally guarantee you that you'll find a way, especially if you figure out, like, what is it that works for you? I am teaching a weight loss class. It is coming. But keep in mind, what I'm going to share is what worked for me. And so you're going to have to figure out what works for your body. And I also had to make it sustainable because this is where I want to be for the rest of my life. And here's the other thing you have to know. I'm glad it gives you hope, because here's the other thing. I could not go and do one of those programs. A, I think they're too expensive. I don't think they're a good use of money. B, it's not sustainable. I mean, if I'm eating somebody else's food, then as soon as I stop eating that person's food, I'm going to gain all my weight back. So I gave myself a hard look, and I was like, you know, I didn't look terrible, obviously. I thought I looked okay, pretty. I mean, I felt good about myself, but I wasn't feeling good. Like, I was getting out of breath. And I still have a lot of work I want to do. And I also couldn't wear the kinds of clothing that I wanted to wear. And also energetically, I felt kind of sluggish, to be honest. And so I took a look and said, how do I shift this? And so if you give yourself a year, I promise you, you can make some pretty intense changes. But even my husband's like, it's unbelievable. And especially because I didn't go and do all the other things that people said really work, that you and I both know are not sustainable. I really appreciate it. But here's the thing. You should feel beautiful at whatever size you are. I didn't think I was not beautiful. I really try to love myself where I am, and I try to, you know, not be my own worst critic. But at the same time, I was like, if I'm huffing and puffing now at 42 at the time, what's it going to be like by 60? I mean, 60 is still really young to me anyway. I mean, a lot of my girlfriends are in their 60s, and they're in shape, you know, and I was like, shit, if I don't get this together now, you know. So thank you. I feel really good. And what the best part is I know I can maintain it. Love the body you've got, but if your health isn't good, make a change, and make it before you're too old. Because here's the other thing. If you want to age well, you can't lose a bunch of weight after the age of like 50. If I were to lose this weight 10 years from now, it would affect the aging process. So my recommendation to you is that you lose the weight you want to lose before you get too old. That's just candid. Because your body, you don't have the collagen to bounce back. So, you know, when you're in your 20s, you can lose 100 pounds and your skin will kind of, you know, go back. You're in your 50s or 60s and you lose 50 pounds or even 25 pounds. Your body doesn't have the same collagen supply. And so it's not going to bounce right back. That's right. And my grandmother had a saying, actually. It's a funny saying. It's not a very great saying, but it's kind of true. She used to tell me, when you get older, you can either save your waist or save your face. You can't save both. And I remember that. In fact, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, I know, Grandma, I can either save my waist or my face. You know, but here's the thing. I mean, I did this to feel better. And I feel really good. So I want you, if you make a change, I don't want it to be because you don't feel beautiful. You should feel beautiful all the time, at any size. But if you don't feel good, you need to make a change. No, Jennifer, it's not. I mean, part of it is your genetics. Part of it is how much weight you have to lose. Part of it is making sure you include exercise, because if you don't, that's a little bit of a void. Now, I didn't do any kind of high impact exercise because I just don't like to do high impact exercise. There's a lot of joint problems that run in my family. So you're never, if you see me running, here's a truth I can tell you. Are you ready? If you see me running down the street, it's because someone is chasing me. You will never catch me running down the street by choice. It's true. Seriously, if you see me running, it's because shit's happening and I gotta go. That's not because it's not because I want to. It's a good public service announcement for you, maybe. Here's the thing. I have bad genes. You ready? I have bad genes in terms of arthritis, osteoarthritis, autoimmune, challenges, lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, weight gain, dementia. I mean, the deck is kind of stacked against me. So you're not looking at somebody who's got like a fantastic flippin' gene pool to work with. And so I don't. So if you have crappy genes, hashtag shitty pickle genes, you have to manage that. I mean, I almost feel like what I'm doing right now is a responsibility to my children, because if I don't get my act together and make sure my system is running at an optimal rate, my kids are sort of SOL. Sophia, so here's the thing. Sophia says she loves running and she's done marathons. So if you see Sophia running, she is not being chased. Sophia is doing that by choice. My dad is a triathlete. So I will say, even though he's got all the heart disease, the anxiety, there's agoraphobia, there's obsessive compulsive disorder, there is bipolar disorder, there is dementia, there's everything else, but my dad's a triathlete. So the man looks like, my dad is going to be 77 this year. He looks like he's about 60, 65, maybe. So I do have some good genes on that side. But if you see my dad running, he is also doing that by choice. You don't need to pull over and give him assistance. It's cool, I mean, to see somebody 77 who is vital. But you know what he does first thing in the morning? He wakes up, apple cider vinegar. He takes a shot of olive oil. He's got this whole regimen that he's been doing his whole life. He eats salmon every day. He takes his supplements, his glucosamine and chondroitin and all the things for managing the things that he knows are challenges in his own bloodline. And I think taking that responsibility is really powerful. No, so here's the thing. If you are younger than, I would say, 60 or 65, and you need to lose weight, you should do it now. That's my public service announcement for you. And I say that out of love because I want you to live for a long time. Well, that's awesome. So Erica has an example to the contrary, actually. She's saying that her grandma used to weigh 145 pounds at 90. She's now 94, and her skin tightened up. She eats 3 meals a day and water. It's genes too, you guys. Part of it's genetics. If you've got better genes than I do, I don't have good genes. So I got to work with that. If you have, seriously, and here's the thing, you guys. If you have 100 pounds to lose, start with a goal of 25. And make some minor changes and then celebrate that and see where you are. One thing I can tell you for sure is that my weight, I've always weighed more than you would think. Okay, for whatever reason, I tend to. I'm very muscular and I'm kind of stocky, and so I always weigh more than people think I do. And so if I thought I had to weigh 110 pounds, for example, I would give up. I mean, I legitimately would give up. I think I might have been 10 when I was 110 pounds. So that's not going to happen for me. So I really want you to think about maybe finding your right weight. Do you know what I mean? And for some of you who think you have 100 to lose, try 30. You might be pleasantly surprised. If I told you how much I weigh, you'd probably say I need to lose weight. But then you look at me and I feel really good. So, and I don't want to lose any more weight. So what's good for me might not be good for you. And what's good for you might not be good for me. And I want you to think about that. Okay. Terry says, is this the weight loss class tonight? No, it's AroMagic and I need to get back on topic. So thank you for that. Okay. You ready? You know why we're talking about weight loss? Because it's our common denominator. All of us, are conditioned to think we need to lose weight. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to get to a point where you love where you are. And that's not a number. That's a feeling. If it was a number for me, I'd be out of luck. Yeah. And look, curves are sexy. There might be people who look at me and say I'm very overweight. I'm curvy. So, and to them I would say, well, I like it. I like having a little meat on the bone. And that works for me. I don't want to be super skinny. I don't like that. I want to be sexy. And I think women with curves and a little bit of, if you can't pinch something here, you're not sexy to me. I want to be able to pinch you and get a little something over there. I think women are gorgeous. I must tell you. I mean, I am married, but I sure do look. I think women are delectable. And I don't like them skinny. Okay, let's talk about herbs and oils. You want to? I'm going to smudge a little bit and get us ready to do that. I haven't done a real smudge today, so it's time. Usually I have smudged multiple times by now. So just giving you a little. I love you guys too. Oh, Erica says she's been here and seen me many times. I appreciate that. I mean, here's the thing. You have to feel good. And I have really tried. I mean, when I had my children, I was, I would say 60 to 80 pounds heavier than I am right now when I had my kids. I gained a lot of weight when I was pregnant. My doctor was furious. And I still felt really cute. I don't know. you know, it was cute. I don't know. My doctor was horrified, but I felt very cute. Okay, so love you, and then figure out what your ideal is and find that. And it's not anybody else's ideal. I'm 5'2" and a quarter. I think the quarter is my hair. I think I'm actually 5'2", but this is about a quarter. All right, girls. So actually in my profile pictures, there's a picture of me at 8 months pregnant with Zoe, and that was probably the heaviest I've ever been. And I thought I looked really cute. So, and I left it up, still under my profile pictures. You can still go back and see me 8 months pregnant with my girl. Okay, I'm gonna jump right in because we have a lot to talk about tonight. So tonight we're talking about success, really, and intuition. Okay, those are the two things that these two herbs and these two oils bring you. And here's what's really, really, really funny. Here's what's really, really funny. So, you know, there are books out there on herbs that say that every herb is for protection, or every herb is for love, or every herb is an aphrodisiac. And to a certain extent, they're right. I mean, herbs do a lot of different things. And then on the other hand, I'm reading the comments, but I'm trying to stay focused. On the other hand, if every herb is for protection, then no herbs are for protection, right? So that's always been my complaint with most of the, when you guys are like, could you please refer us to books on aromatherapy and herbs and things like that? I'm always like, gosh, the main ones that are out there almost do that, or they're so encyclopedic that it's not even interesting. So I am writing a book. It will be out next year, and so, you know, that will be a good reference source for you. But I think what you need to think about when you're thinking about herbs, and I said this in our live session today in AroMagic, what we need to think about when we're thinking about herbs is they are sacraments. Okay, they are teachers. They are gifts to us. I mean, if you think about it, and I really do give this a lot of thought. I really, really do spend a lot of time thinking about the fact, you know, thinking about when people question their faith and stuff like that. I always ask them, you know, if you look around, everything around you is just a miracle. I mean, the fact that we have an entire pharmacy in the jungles and in the forests and in the rainforests, of everything that we need to cure what ails us. I have a very wise friend who said that every stone and every herb and every oil that is needed to cure HIV and AIDS is on the African continent right now. Now, you know, you can think what you want about that, but it's a very, his concept is that Mother Earth, Pachamama, in her wisdom, wove into the fabric of the soil and the rock and the plants of each of the countries on our planet and each of the continents on our planet exactly what we need. Exactly what we need to heal whatever comes from those continents, from those countries. And I'm fascinated by the concept. I'm fascinated by it. Now, you know, there are places in Africa where people talk about sugilite as a stone that helps to put HIV in remission. I can't speak to that or attest to that at all. But that is a narrative that exists, and it makes sense because sugilite comes from the African continent. There are people who say the same thing about dioptase, which is also a stone from the African continent. And so now, you know, my question to you always as a scientist is, what if? You know, what if it's true? What if everything that we need for every possible ailment that will ever, you know, harm us in North America, what if everything we need to cure and respond to those ailments is, by definition and fact, woven into the fabric of our own, you know, system, our own environment, our own microcosm, our own microculture, right? I mean, our own agriculture, our own ecocycle. What if it's possible? And I'm just fascinated by the entire concept. So I want you to sit with that too. So tonight's herbs and oils come to you from different parts of the world. Your alkanet root. Alkanet root is fun. We're going to talk about alkanet. This is alkanet. It's kind of this Cabernet Merlot colored root. Your alkanet root comes to you from Greece and Italy. So this is a European root. Why not, right? Here's the problem. Here's the you know, fly in the ointment, right? Is that we've been trained not to believe that's true. And in my life, I have a lot of doctors because you know, obviously I have autoimmune disease. I have a general practitioner. I go to a lot of alternative doctors. I seek out doctors. I actually really enjoy going to the doctor because I feel like I learn and I ask questions, and I like to be in partnership with a broad medical community, both for myself and for my children. And I research and find doctors who will talk to me, who don't just kind of rush me through the system. But I struggle with how they respond to me saying, okay, so I'm doing this traditional treatment, you know, and when they ask you about herbs and supplements and I tell them all the other things I'm doing and they're like, oh, I don't know about that, you know, I don't know about that amino acid, or, you know, I would just be cautious with, you know, too much vitamin D, and it's like, I struggle. I really struggle. So what I say is, look, you know, I'm ultimately my best doctor. I come to you for consultation and medicine. I go to my other doctors for consultation and medicine, but ultimately I am the agent of my own healing, or not. So, and the reality is you are too. If you take all your medicine and you're a great patient, but you go home and you eat like crap and you don't sleep and you drink too much and you stay out all night and you know, terrorize your body, you're not going to be a good agent of your own healing. You'll have followed all the rules, but you won't have created a sanctuary in your body where healing is actually possible. So I really do think ultimately it all comes back to you, truly. Okay, so alkanet comes to you from Italy and Greece. Your chamomile, I did a lot of research today because of the question during the live. Your chamomile is German and / Western European, okay, and that's your chamomile right here. Your pretty little flowers. And I tried to make sure we gave you mostly flowers and not leaves, because you know, this is what chamomile should look like. And by the way, you know that if you spend $10 on stagegoddess.com today, but only until midnight, I don't have enough for more than that. If you spend $10 or more today, you get a free dram of chamomile essential oil. This is the absolute, look at that, it's like dark brown. This bottle is clear, by the way. This isn't a brown bottle. So that is the actual color of the chamomile. So don't miss that. You have to use code SUCCESS, and you have to spend $10 and you're basically, I think the retail of the chamomile absolute is $17 for the dram. So you're basically getting $7 for free, which is kind of a cool thing. Plus your new June kit's in the shop today. So if you buy that, you'll automatically qualify. So your chamomile comes from Western Europe, it's German. Your honeysuckle comes from North America. And your opoponax comes from East Africa. And your opoponax is what we're going to use in our meditation tonight. So you need this. You need your dram of opoponax for our meditation. We're going to do a plant teacher meditation. And let's start with opoponax. Jackie, you're okay. You're okay, but don't do it again. Like if it felt good to shove the alkanet up your nose, that's okay, but don't do it again. Well, I'm actually part West African. I'm 9% Nigerian, according to 23andMe DNA. So I am West African. So it's very cool that Darina is East African. Those are your people. All Africans are Africans, right? So I kind of love that. Okay, so let's start with the opoponax, since we're going to be doing our meditation with it, and it's one of the ones I'm most excited about. Oh, Jackie, well, take a break. Okay, as we always do, I want you to anoint with your opoponax. So I want you to just turn the vial upside down. Opoponax is a resin, so this was cooked down for you from the resin. Just keep that in mind because it's a little sticky. Okay, I'm going to put a little on my third eye, and I'm going to tell you why. Do you know what opoponax does? I can't wait. I cannot wait. Oh my God, Shayna is burning it. Get out of town. Okay, do you know what opoponax does? Beyond smelling like the most incredible thing you've ever smelled, because let me tell you, if you love amber, if you love musk, if you love patchouli, if you love sandalwood, to me, opoponax is beyond all of that. It's also rarer than all of that, and so you hardly ever see it. Opoponax does this. It gives you unfettered access to hidden wisdom, hidden information. This is one of the most powerful essential oils in existence for accessing the Akashic records, which are the hologrammed records of everything that will ever happen or that exists. I can tell you it exists because I've seen it in Shamanic Journey, the Akashics. And it really does look the way people talk about it looking, like this huge cosmic library. Without question, if you are a reader, an empath, an intuitive, a psychic, somebody who is a crystal healer or an energy healer, a Reiki practitioner, you need opoponax in your medicine bag. It will, I mean, and it's instant. I mean, it literally is instant. The one thing I will tell you is don't anoint with opoponax and then go to bed, because I've had a lot of people come back and say, hey, I had all these like crazy kind of psychedelic out of body journeying, and unless you're signing up for that, that can be really challenging. So if you're somebody who wants to have those kinds of experiences, then by all means use it and, you know, enjoy. But we should also talk about that. I mean, before you start doing astral travel and things like that. And Angela, if you'd like to talk more about shamanic journey, remind me to come back to that question. But one of the things you want to do before you start just letting yourself go out of your body is I take a selenite wand and I go all the way around my bed and I touch the carpet. So let's say this is the carpet. I go all the way around my bed with a selenite wand so that I open a circle. Try to make sure you don't lose contact with the carpet as you go all the way around your bed, opening that circle, and smudge, okay? You could add it to trance. You could also add it to Vision Quest. Those are my two primary astral travel, Akashic record accessing essential oil blends. Both trance and Vision Quest are pure. And they're old. I mean, and it's funny because we were going to retire Vision Quest at one point and our customers like revolted. There's a whole, I never mention it, but it's always out of stock. And that's because there's a whole set of customers who are flying around the moon with, with Vision Quest. So Wanda's going to bed after this. Let me just tell you, if you want to have some fun, I mean, it's lucid dreams. And the other, and by the way, so when you use opoponax, and I know we're kind of jumping in, and I'll slow down, and it's not in the Journey perfume. I've never made you a blend with opoponax. That's the other reason I chose it for you. There is literally not another essential oil blend in the Sage Goddess perfume library that contains this. So what you can do is go back to your favorite blends and start being a little bit of a chemist. You can go back and add it to anything. I mean, I know Vision Quest, Valerie was saying it's out of stock. It's always out of stock because it's hard for me to make. I have to boil and cook it down, and people are flying away with it. Now, there are lots of herbs. Oh, Jenny's got stolen when it was delivered. I don't like that. I don't like that. Sometimes postal carriers recognize Sage Goddess stuff. You gotta hope you have an honest magician as your postal carrier. So Jacqueline's saying opoponax makes her feel at home. I love that. So here's what I recommend. Opoponax is expensive, but it goes a long way. It's very strong. So if you want to make this kind of last longer for you, one of my favorite ways to do that, if you guys don't have a jar of coconut oil, I'm looking at the time and I'm like, we're going to go till 6:30, but we have so much to talk about tonight. If you don't have a jar of coconut oil sitting on your vanity or under your sink and you don't use it every day, you're really missing out, not only on an anti-aging treatment and an incredible moisturizing treatment, because coconut oil replaces to your skin and your hair exactly what you lose when you strip it or damage it. Coconut oil in your hair, every time I wash my hair, an hour before I go to take a shower to wash my hair, and I don't wash my hair very often, I only wash it once or twice a week, but every time I wash my hair the hour before, I completely coat my head in coconut oil, and I add a little bit of jasmine to it and a little bit of honeysuckle and a few other ingredients to make a beautiful hair serum, and leave that on for an hour. I don't have split ends, you know, and that's one of the reasons is I do a mask like that. It's so amazing. I put it on my face. I put it on my wrinkles every night before I go to bed. When I take my makeup off, sometimes there's still, because I wear so much eyeliner, sometimes there's still like black underneath. Does that happen to you? Put your fingertips in your coconut oil and just go boop, and it will all come off. It's like the best makeup remover ever. It takes off all of your flash tattoos if you get tired of them. Unbelievable. Oh, it's so cute. Bonnie says her cat won't leave her alone since she anointed with her opoponax. Okay, so the Latin name for opoponax is Commiphora opoponax. It is sun sign Capricorn. It is feminine in terms of its gender. It's a water element. It also aligns to Scorpio, so it's both Capricorn and Scorpio, and planet is Mars. And one of you had asked a great question. Karen says, what if I won't leave myself alone? Could be a really fun night for Karen, you guys. I don't quite know where that's going, but oh, and coconut oil is a lubricant both for your face and your cuticles and your hair, as well as, you know, there. It honestly, it's the bee's knees. It tastes good in coffee. I love it on my oatmeal, so I eat it internally because it coats your digestive tract and it eases digestive problems and on and on and on. You laughing about my little anyway. Okay, comes from East Africa. Accessing hidden wisdom. So do you remember the frankincense and myrrh essential oil blend I listed a while back? I think there's a little bit more of it. Do you remember? Did you guys get it? If you didn't, you should. That's another one where like the price on that is just crazy because it's a combination of both frankincense and myrrh essential oils, and they belong together. Frankincense is sharp, myrrh is sweet, and so that would be another good way for you to spend the $10 and get your free chamomile today, because if you get your frankincense and myrrh, you'll cover that, I think. But anyway, if you have the frankincense and myrrh and you want to take it to the next level, mix it with your opoponax and call me in the morning. I mean, seriously, because it's a very specific frankincense and a very specific myrrh that is in that blend, and the way it combines with the opoponax is like beyond words. And then I'm going to take it to the next level. Are you ready? Next month in your June kit, which a lot of you got today, there is the most incredible sandalwood you've ever smelled. Opoponax plus sandalwood plus frankincense and myrrh. Let me just double check my recipe. Is probably the most powerful blend for meditation and any kind of altered state work you could possibly work with. I haven't made it yet because, I mean, honestly, it's very expensive. If you have those 3 grams, you made an investment. So if you want the best of the best of the best for meditation and altered state journey, opening sacred space, holding a sacred container, any of that, opoponax, sandalwood from the June kit, and frankincense and myrrh from the dram from a couple weeks ago. By the way, you could add chamomile. We're going to talk about chamomile in just a couple of minutes. Chamomile has its own incredible magic. Did you know that one of the Latin names for no, none of your drams, by the way, Jackie's asking if they're cut with jojoba oil. None of your drams are cut with jojoba oil unless you're buying the blends. But even some of the blends, like Breathe, is not cut. So if it's cut, we will be very clear in the listing with you. But all of your kits are pure essential oils. And I did that because I want you to be able to blend it how you want it. Like a lot of people want to put it in coconut oil. So if I gave it to you already in jojoba, it would be diluted. And I don't want you to have diluted oils. Okay. Coconut oil, I don't sell, but honestly, you can get it at the grocery store or Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or Amazon. I mean, I'm not loyal to a brand of it. I just love it. And I like working with it solid at room temperature. So for my hair mask, I actually mix the whole thing in my hand. I take my coconut oil, I put all my essential oils in, I mix it in my hands, and I just start going through. And I put it in a big bun, and I leave it for about an hour. And I have very fine hair, I will tell you that. Very fine. It may not look like it, but I have very little hair. Like when I make a braid, it's very small, and my hair is very fine. And it does not weigh it down. So that's important for you to know. But did you know with hair masks, my mom's a hairdresser, so I know all this stuff. Never put it past here. Don't put it up here. Hair masks go from here down. What's right here is hair that you have grown within the last 2 to 6 months, right here. Did you know that? This hair right here. So that hair does not need, most likely you haven't heat damaged it, even if you blow your hair dry every day. So don't go treating this hair up here the same way that you would treat this hair down here, which is probably, let's see, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. This was probably hair from the day my daughter was born. She just turned 8. So that's probably from then. And so the way I treat this hair from 2009 is very different than I'm going to treat this hair from 2017. Does that make sense? I just want you to think about it, because it's people just put shit all over their hair, and I'm always, maybe it's because my mom's a hairdresser, where I'm like, whoa. And then they're like, why are my roots so greasy? It's like, because this is dead. I trim my hair once a year, about ½ an inch, just to get the super dead parts off. But I take such good care of my hair that I don't really get split ends. I have good hair. It's just, it's very fine. Yeah. Yeah, so don't, if your hair is really sensitive, here's the thing. If you want to try it and not risk anything, just put coconut oil on your ends before you get in the shower next time. And I'm talking like just the bottom inch, of your ends. And just rub it through with your fingers. And I also put it all over my cuticles and my toe cuticles. I put a little bit here. I put lots here because, women age here really early. So put lots of, by the way, did you know that if you want to get rid of your little skin situations here, if you put coconut oil every day and you go like this upward on your neck, do you do this? Against your skin, up like this, you will actually reduce the appearance of sagging skin on your neck. Boom, 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 boom. Now, Casey, I've been using coconut oil on my hair ever since I've been coloring it. In fact, I just did coconut oil treatment all over my hair on Sunday, and my color is really vivid and vibrant. So for me, it doesn't affect that at all. Isn't that funny? Yeah, it keeps you kind of, if you have that. No, Kimberly, it's never too late. I'm totally serious, by the way. It's never too late. Okay, so let's move on to, did you have any questions, by the way? They call opoponax the spirit oil. We're going to meditate with it at the end once we go through our products. Yeah, I mean, you should play a little bit, you guys. No, but you should really play a little bit. You should get some coconut oil, get yourself a little jar that you like. Start adding your essential oils into it. Jasmine's really good for hair. Rose is good for hair. Honeysuckle is good for your hair. And then you could also you could make two different kinds of treatments. You could do Jackie's asking what opoponax is made from. It's actually opoponax. It's a resin. And what they do at the opoponax tree is really interesting. They go up to the opoponax tree and they cut slits in it. I'll do it on my coffee cup. They cut these big slits in the opoponax tree. And then they put I'm doing a shitty job of drawing this for you, but they put a little cup right here at the bottom where they've cut the slit. Because what happens is after they cut the slit, it forms like a ball. It starts to leak, the opoponax resin, it starts to leak and it forms a ball. And then what they do is they come along and they go boop, and the balls fall in the cup. Kind of cool, isn't it? It's like maple syrup. Yeah, it's like tapping maple syrup. So much like that. But it actually comes from the opoponax tree. Don't you want an opoponax tree? Hey, Santa, I've been really good this year, and I would love for you to go to West Africa and dig me up an opoponax tree, put it in your sleigh, and drop it down my fireplace. Okay. Hidden knowledge, they call it the spirit oil for divination and rituals. That's right. Okay, so honeysuckle is your other magics for this month. Your other magics. By the way, I think there's a few of last month's kit still available. Does anybody know? So if you didn't get it, because I'm telling you, opoponax and honeysuckle, and they're not going to be back. So if you wanted to get those, if there's any left from last month, you could get your chamomile oil tonight. Ready to talk honeysuckle? Did you love it? Can you please give me feedback about honeysuckle? Please, please, please. Give me feedback about honeysuckle. I hope you loved it. I was so excited. It's really funny because there's 146 of them left. I think we listed about, I don't remember how much we listed, but there's a few left. The frankincense and myrrh is gone. Okay. I know it's hard, and you got to make choices. So I know, like I was saying on the live today, I know that a lot of you won't get every kit. Some of you are collecting them, but I try to help you kind of decide. It's like what's resonating, what's speaking to you. I think using your powers of discernment is always really important because there aren't even enough kits for everybody to have one anyway. So I don't want you to feel pressure, but I do want you to use your discernment to go, I want that. I'm trying to access the Akashics. I'm a reader. I need something to open my third eye. I feel stuck. I feel like I can't access my spirit guides. I don't know how to channel ancient wisdom. That's opoponax. You know, if somebody were to come to me and say, I really want to get in touch with my guides and I don't know how, opoponax is how you do it. Okay, Miriam said both the honeysuckle and opoponax together are amazing. If you have them both, please take them right now. And I anointed with the opoponax already. Add your honeysuckle to it. I do want you to smell it. It's pretty incredible. And they're complementary. They're different and they're same. Okay, so the opoponax is about connecting you with that, you know, that deeper spiritual wisdom. The honeysuckle does the same thing. It's thought to be a very visionary flower. And in fact, as I mentioned in your classroom content, if you take a honeysuckle flower, so the legend goes, and you pull it off the vine and you rub it on your third eye, it's supposed to open your third eye and decalcify your pineal gland so that you can, your intuition, seat of your intuition is more clear. So I don't have a little flower right now, but I am going to put a little of the pure oil on my third eye, and I invite you to do the same thing. Isn't it gorgeous? Wouldn't that be an incredible perfume? And what I love is I'm not going to make that into a perfume, but you could. And that's why, you know, I had those little apothecary, the green, beautiful bottles a couple of weeks ago, because I want you to play. You know, it's like, if this is inspiring you, these two belong together. I think they're absolutely stunning. The opoponax sort of softens it and mellows it and broadens it, like it expands it in a very interesting way. It's almost like crown and root. But out of, I don't know if you notice this, but what the opoponax does to the honeysuckle is it brings out a little bit of an additional floral, like there's an extra floral note that comes out, and almost like a sweet citrus to it too. Get out of town. No way. Cynthia said she had honeysuckle vine at her grandma's house, and they did that with the flowers. Are you serious, Cynthia? Like, that is so cool that you actually did that with your grandmother. Because it's one thing to read about it. I didn't do that. I did actually have a grandmother who used to let me drink nectar. Did you guys do that too? She had a honeysuckle vine. I think a lot of our grandmothers did. When I see houses that have honeysuckle vines and lilac vines, that always feels like home to me, because my grandma really loved, I think our grandmothers were outdoors more. I mean, I'm building huge planter boxes in my garden because I want us to start growing our own food. Part of the shift in my diet is eating a lot of foods that I'm growing or friends are growing, and really trying to get away from buying stuff in grocery stores. So, because it tastes different, it tastes better. And one of the things I'm realizing as I do that is I do feel a little bit more connected to the feminine in my own family, because I do think our grandmothers were out more. They gardened more. They didn't have access to the amount of food and herbs that we have. They also didn't have, in a lot of cases, at least in my case, any money at all. And so growing foods wasn't like, for my family, my grandmothers on both sides, it wasn't fun. It was the only way to survive. And so when I do it, even though I don't have to do it, I mean, we're blessed that we don't have to eat out of our own garden every day. I hope to within the next year. But even though we don't have to, when I go out there, I'm still like, gosh, you know, I mean, there's something healing. If you had a shitty day and get your hands in the soil, I don't know about you, but it completely changes my thought process, my ability to channel. You know, I'll come in and be all inspired for a new product or a new perfume or something to do with my kids or a solution to a problem that's been bothering me. It's like the clarity that comes, you know. Christian says, I taught my son how to drink honeysuckle nectar. He thought I was nuts till he saw it didn't kill me first. That's really funny. It's so cool. So, you know, and what's even cool is the memories that you guys are sharing are really beautiful too. Like, a lot of us, my grandma had a lemon tree, and I don't know why, but her lemons were sweet. They were not sour. And the biggest like gift time with her was going out and picking lemons. And then she would let us come in and we'd make, you know, we'd take them and juice them and make lemon cake. Or she used to make this like upside down lemon cake with like lemon slices. And I just remember all of that. And I appreciate the time that she took to let me have those experiences. And again, when I was growing up, she didn't have anything. She didn't even really have a garden. She had one lemon tree, but we found a way to make that special. So when people say, well, I don't have a garden, or I can't grow herbs, or I can't grow things, my answer is always, it might just be one pot plant that you have, a rosemary plant or something, but you can still make magic for yourself, and you can still make magic for other people. It's about the intention of what you do with what you have access to. I mean, I have one big flowering jasmine plant, but I had 25 Girl Scouts at my house 2 days ago, and all they wanted to do was sit around and talk about jasmine and smell it, and they wanted clippings and cuttings. And I mean, it's just a star jasmine plant, you know, but it's about me wanting to tell them a story about it and wanting to teach them what it feels like to take a piece and cut, you know, and then to sing back to the plant and thank it for giving its life, you know, that piece, its life to us. And I don't know, it's just special. It's so cool. It's so cool. And so, you know, we return to that wisdom. And what we realize ultimately is that, you know, our happiness is intrinsically connected to nature. Not only is our well-being and our livelihoods in many cases, but our happiness and our health is intrinsically connected to nature. So we have to get back. It's not even like I want to connect with my grandmother. It's I want to find my way back to a whole and healthy lifestyle. And how do we do that? So it's really cool. I love it so much. Well, Christina, if you're ever in LA, you got to come by and introduce them to Auntie Athena. I love meeting your children when you come into town because it's very cool. It means a lot to me, so I would love that. Okay, so visionary oil, edible nectar. It's an aphrodisiac, so I have a recipe for you. You ready? Sexy time incense. Sexy time incense. Very cool. Only has 3 ingredients, but you could do a 4th. And in fact, there's actually 5 ingredients you could do if you wanted to go all the way. You ready for sexy time incense? Okay, honeysuckle. And by the way, you could make this with essential oil, or you can make it with herbs, because there is Damiana essential oil. It's not easy to find, but you can find it. So, sexy time, you ready? Honeysuckle, rose petals, Damiana, cardamom, and ginger. Those are 5 of the most powerful aphrodisiacs that you will ever work with. Aside from big pharma aphrodisiacs, which are very, very terrifying things, according to my friends and clients who have used those. I have not used a big pharma aphrodisiac, but leave it to say. I do think if you have sex drive problems, you do need to have your hormones checked. So a lot of customers come to us and they're like, I don't have any, I don't want to, I don't need to. Do you have anything? And it's like, well, let's check your hormones first, especially for, you know, we women are going through, you know, menopause and perimenopause, and then, you know, other hormonal changes that happen, and that really seriously does affect your sex drive. I'm going to repeat the 5. You ready? Honeysuckle, rose or rose petals if you're making an incense, Damiana, which is Damiana, cardamom, which is super sexy time, super sexy time. And if you can't find cardamom powder, what you do is you get the cardamom pods, and if you don't know where to get those, you can get them online. You can also get them at your local Indian grocer. If you have an Indian grocery or like an India Sweets, a lot of we have a large Indian community here where I live, so they're kind of on every corner. And you can get either green or black cardamom pods, and then what you can do is freeze them. I know I'm like telling you a lot about something we're not even studying this month, but what you can do is freeze your cardamom pods and then put them in your blender, and they'll reduce down to a nice powder. Because people always come to me and they're like, can't find cardamom powder. Sometimes World Market will have cardamom powder, but not in good quantity. Keep in mind, cardamom seeds and pods are very expensive. Very cool. Yeah, Vani, here in South Bay, they just have the pods. But there's a place here in South Bay called Penzies. It's an urban and essence shop, and they have powdered cardamom. But again, it's an arm and a leg. So what I have found is, to save money, I grind my own. Oh, it's so funny. Donna's noticing that my singing bowls are on their side. Yes, they're okay. They're not touching. They're not touching. Thank you for noticing them. Oh my God, cardamom and chai, get out of town. My brother makes the most incredible chai, my vegan brother. And it's the cardamom and the black tea, you know, and he uses a very thick coconut milk in his chai, and it is just something you wouldn't believe. And he also makes a date chai. Did I tell you about this? If we have time, I'll tell you about it. Did I tell you about his chai where he boils down the ginger and the dates first? He kind of makes like a stew out of it, because if you boil medjool dates with a couple of slices of ginger in some water for about an hour or two. It thickens. And then you can add coconut milk to that. I'm making you thirsty. You can add coconut milk to that and a little bit of cardamom, a little bit of cinnamon. Unbelievable. And so good for you. You're getting coconut, which is so good for your skin. You're getting dates, which have a lot of antioxidants in them and lots of anti-aging properties. You're getting ginger, which is going to be so good for your digestive tract and also for calming your nerves and all the other things that ginger does. And tea, which is going to give you a little bit of a boost. So good, you guys. So Cheryl, yes and no. So the thing with sex drive, what I know from all the work that I do with all the thousands of women I interact with around the world, sex drive is a hybrid well, let's say it's a hybrid problem. It's a three-pronged problem. Sex drive sometimes has to do yes, Sherry, it's a poop juice. If you drink too much of that chai I just told you about, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So just know that. But I don't drink, I mean, I drink maybe 4 ounces at a time. So that's, I mean, if you sit there and drink a, flipping big gulp of it, you're going to be sitting on the toilet for a while. I kind of forgot where I was because we were talking about poop juice. But anyway, I can come back. Oh, sex drive is a three-pronged problem. You ready? The first prong is, do you like your partner? Or, I mean, that is a part of a lot of women's problems. Let's just be honest. They have a sex drive. They just don't have a sex drive for their partner. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but that is one of the prongs. The second prong of a sex drive issue is hormones. You lose your estrogen, you lose your testosterone, and you have to get that balance back. And, a lot of women are using bioidentical hormones and other things. Also not going to talk about that tonight because that's a whole other topic. But a lot of women don't have the drive for their partner, and their hormones are all effed up. So the third prong is using some tools that we know can assist you, because there are legitimate aphrodisiacs, and that's what they do. They boost the sex drive. By the way, that's true. Melinda said you can like your partner but not want to sleep with them. I'm very lucky. I like my partner and I want to sleep with them. So I'm very blessed, but not everybody has that, and that can be a very big challenge. The third prong, though, is using those aphrodisiacs. And aphrodisiacs don't just boost your sex drive. Your aphrodisiacs boost your creativity. Remember, everything sexy time, everything sex drive is in your sacral chakra. And that's also the house of everything, or the seat of everything that you're going to create in the world. So part of, and the reason why I'm saying these things in AroMagic, even though this is an essential oil class, is I shy away from people who kind of say, oh, 1 stone and you'll be fine. Just use your essential oils. That's all you need. I'm a fan of a holistic approach, which says you need to look at your body and your physical health. You need to look at your hormones. You need to look at your physical fitness. You need to look at your partnership. You need to look at all these things and then work with your aphrodisiacs. So many women, and a lot of women will think they've got a sex drive problem. What they actually have is a sacral chakra problem, because they've had trauma to the sacral, either by all kinds of feminine problems, fibroids and tumors and hysterectomies and abortions and C-sections and all these ways that we violate our sacral chakra, and then we wonder where our sex drive is. Not around here. But here's what I'm going to come in and tell you to inspire you. Are you ready? And then we'll get back to this. Hopefully you like these digressions, because at the end of the day, I like to teach you like all the technical things, and then I also like to give you kind of a lift up and give you a 30,000-foot view of like, so what does all of this mean? So I hope this is not irrelevant to you. What was I just going to tell you? Oh, I was going to go back to the properties. So in Latin, honeysuckle is pronounced lonicera or lonicera. It brings visionary abilities, like we talked about. That's right. Oh, the emotional trauma related to sex. Yeah. So a lot of us have a lot of trauma, and we don't address it or resolve it. And so I think you have to. I wanted to say to inspire you. That's where I wanted to leave off. What I wanted to say to inspire you tonight is, just know it's never too late, and the tiniest changes result in huge outcomes. I mean, even if all you did after tonight's class, truly, okay, even if all you did after tonight's class is different, is worked with opoponax to try and open your third eye. That is going to have an effect. If all you did after tonight's class was start to use coconut oil on your skin, that is going to have an effect. And so what I really like to think about, because I'm hard on myself, and I get into those places of like, it's too late, or I have kids, or I'm too busy, or that's too expensive, or I can get into those places and I get discouraged. What I try to remember with myself, and what I'm trying to tell you tonight, because I want to inspire you too, is it all matters. Like even the tiniest change that you make really does matter. If you drink one less cup of coffee a day, or if you start working with essential oils you never had before, you start lifting free weights like I was talking about today, or just whatever, go walk around your block one time a night or something. Every tiny change, you know? Anyway, oh, and I just had an ovarian cyst rupture. So you need to heal, and you need to do a holistic healing for yourself, which is not just let's hurry up and get this better, but is instead, Dolores Cannon, for example, would actually want you to dialogue with that rupture. Okay, rupture, what are you teaching me? What are you showing me? You know, okay, cyst, why did you rupture? What do I need to know? What wasn't I seeing? Which meant that you had to bring something more fully to my attention. And then ask your guides, okay, as soon as I have received that wisdom and integrated it, please help me to heal quickly from what has happened. It's a beautiful way of healing that actually acknowledges and honors the root of the problems that occur to us. You know, and it's like, okay, so what's going on there? What do I need to know? You know, I had pain in my back last week, and I was just like, okay, what do I need to know? What's happening over here? And getting in there and dialoguing, but you have to be open to hearing all of that. The answers do come, but sometimes they're subtle, right? Okay, so honeysuckle, the correspondences. Oh, here we go. Okay. It is masculine. The element is Earth. Planet is Jupiter. And the sun signs are Aries and Taurus. And I'll tell you why. Because honeysuckle is not just for your intuition. Honeysuckle brings financial gain, it brings good luck, and it brings success. It does all of those things in addition to that. Yeah, so Teresa's asking if you can anoint with honeysuckle and opoponax without a carrier oil. You sure can. Now, if you want it to last longer, I would blend it, but these are both skin safe in their essential oil blend. Okay, a lot of oils are not. You know, rosemary is very astringent, hard on your skin. Lavender can even be astringent for some people. But these are two that tend to be very easy for people to wear without problems. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. What was it? I just wanted to look at something really quick. I want to make sure I'm seeing all your questions in the feed. I think I am. If I miss something, will you guys just repeat it for me? I just want to make sure that I respond. So if it's an important question and it kind of passes me by really quick. Oh, correspondences for opoponax, sun sign Capricorn or Scorpio for opoponax. I will tell you candidly, I think it's much more Scorpio. And somebody had asked the question in the group, like, so who decides what the correspondences are? My best answer to that is this is shared wisdom. You know, metaphysical knowledge is really an amalgam. It's the result of a culmination and a conflagration of information and wisdom distilled over time. And so it's really hard to say, well, that's the source. In coming up with this for you, I search 1,000 different places, and I sort of cross-check. I check it with my own intuition, okay? So for opoponax, I'm going to tell you it's primarily Scorpio, and that's because it's in the domain of hidden wisdom. It's also in the domain of the occult. The sign of the occult is Sagittarius. I don't know if you know that, but that's the sun sign associated with the occult. And so I would say traditionally it's Capricorn or Scorpio. I would actually say Scorpio / Sagittarius. It's feminine, water element, planet is Mars. Okay, so let's just recap honeysuckle and opoponax really quick. You ready? I'm gonna kind of rattle off properties. Honeysuckle is good for its visionary abilities. You can rub the leaves on your forehead to open your third eye. It brings lucid dreams. It is an aphrodisiac. It especially brings lucid dreams about sex. It can heal a broken heart. It attracts love, wealth, luck, and protection. right? Opoponax sure can make you feel high. It's not going to take you it's not going to take you out of your body. Okay, there are things that will do that. It's not going to do that. Yeah, that's cute that your son likes it and he's a Scorpio. So Annie actually is asking about oils used in pheromones. You know, your pheromones are your body's own naturally secreted sex pheromones. You know, they're your own body's chemistry and your own chemistry's way of interacting with other chemistries. It's very magical, in fact, pheromones, because we usually can't smell our own, but other people can. You know, my kids and my husband have always told me I have a smell. That isn't about my perfume. And I don't know what that smell is, but I do know that I've been told that kind of all my life. And I don't know. I don't know what that is. It will soften you. It will make it easier for you to drop into meditation, especially a deep meditation. And if you're in a resting state or a sleeping state, it will whisk you away a little bit. So if you want to feel really, really grounded after using opoponax, maybe work with hematite, or patchouli oil will bring you back down. If you don't want to come back down, don't use it. Don't use patchouli. Patchouli, you know, it's really funny. If you ever want to stop a shamanic journey, you eat, because you don't eat before you do journey. And as soon as you eat, you come right back. Wherever you were flying around, you come right back as soon as you eat food. And so patchouli is the essential oil equivalent of food after a shamanic journey. If you're flying on mugwort and opoponax and a lot of these flying oils, you know, mandrake and so forth, if you're flying on that stuff and you're not excited about it, you can come back by just sniffing patchouli. Bam. It's like root chakra, brings you right back, for better or worse. I wear patchouli every day because if I didn't, I think I would fly away. So I do that. Opoponax is called spirit oil. It is for divination and ritual, helps you access the Akashic records. It is the oil that opens a portal to hidden wisdom. Opoponax. Hi there, La Luna. So good to see you. Erica, for me, for shamanic journey, which I usually do at night, I don't eat after 12 noon. If I'm journeying between like 4 and 8 p.m. And then I don't eat until the next day. But I'm not a huge eater, so I can fast really easily. For some people, especially if they're not used to fasting for a day or two or a couple of days, some people really struggle. So what I will do is tell them to have snacks, you know, like a few dried fruit pieces or nuts or something like that. Because some people, if they don't, I can go a long time without food, but a lot of people get really shaky. So it's just up to what you can take. I have sort of trained myself to be able to fast because I do a lot of spiritual work and I don't want to be somewhere and like, you know, heart racing and stuff. So I have trained my body to operate on sort of a minimal amount of food and very living, alive food, I should say. Okay, there are actually people called breatharians who don't eat food. And you can research that and go down that rabbit hole, but it's a legit thing. In fact, my breath teacher is a breatharian and really doesn't eat food. And she's very healthy. She eats almonds sometimes, berries. But it's much easier to get out of your body if you are not weighed down by food. If you're doing an ayahuasca journey, I think there's a dieta that you follow, D-I-E-T-A, that's a month long. And for a month, you have to avoid sugar, salt, sex, processed foods, alcohol, and any kind of drug, recreational or prescription. And so it makes it very difficult for people to do ayahuasca journey because you can't take prescription medications and you can't have any food with flavor, and you can't have drugs and alcohol, and you can't have sex with your partner. And you're doing proper journey in like the Amazon, you know, jungle, you're actually going to be in your own kind of tent in isolation for about a week before. So dieta's no joke. Breatharian as in pranayama, as in the full pranic breath. That's right. Breatharians do pranayama, do full pranic breath multiple times a day. And they either do it for like extended periods of time on these weeks and months long retreats. But the breatharians I know, and I don't know very many of them, are some of the healthiest people I know. I don't do that. I do eat food. I just don't eat very much. I know, so it's up to you. But I like to tell you about all this stuff because I think you should know. You know, it's sort of like part of what I love about knowing how other people work with food and with plants and everything else is I get inspired. You know, it's like, wow, what would that be like? What would that be like to reorient myself to food and see it more as an option? You know, it's like, what would that be like? And by the way, they're aging very differently than those of us who stuff ourselves full of animal products and, you know, processed crap. I mean, they're aging differently. So you can say, well, that's weird. Or you can say, what do they know that I don't know? Kind of thing. Opoponax is feminine, watery, mysterious. So let's move on to chamomile. Chamomile is right here. But again, if you spend $10 today at sagegoddess.com and you say success, you get that for free. So you'll have both the herb and the essential oil, which I think is very cool. We're working with the herb tonight, but the properties of the essential oil are essentially really the same. Oh, I'm glad you like it. So Casey's asking about codes. Full Moon 11 is your code right now, unless you're in Holistic Healer, which you have your 15% discount code, which I can't tell you here because some people are not in Holistic Healer, and I don't want to give out a code that they shouldn't be using. Okay, so chamomile is from the Latin. There are two different names. Okay, chamomilum or chamomilum nobile, noble chamomile, or matricaria, and that's where I want to go with you. Thank you, Rachel. How very sweet. Rachel said you're such an amazing source of knowledge. I really appreciate that. You know, this is what we're talking about right now is my passion in life. I am fascinated by the names of these herbs and oils, how we use them, what they might do for our body. And I feel like we're all unlocking a code. I mean, I really feel like we've kind of scratched the surface about what these herbs and oils do. And part of it is, well, Amy, so we're kind of, tonight, in a way, we're still working kind of at a beginner level. There are books you can look to. We were talking about earlier, I don't love any of them, which is why I'm writing my own, because I'm just not satisfied with the information that's out there. Okay, so let's talk about chamomile. Sun sign Leo, it's male. The element is fire, but also water, and the planet is the sun, which I think like is fitting. If you look at it, it looks like little tiny suns. That's right. I did pull the world card. And it's all the things, right? I mean, that's what the world card represents too. Okay. There is an ingredient called bisabolol or bisabolol, depending on how you pronounce it, in chamomile that is a very powerful anti-inflammatory agent that is very helpful for people with autoimmune disease. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't drink chamomile tea and you have autoimmune disease, you just got a new daily ritual. Chamomile tea could not be any safer for you. So no matter who you are, really, and what kind of allergies you might have, to this day, I have never really met anybody who couldn't tolerate chamomile. It's one of the most gentle herbs and oils that you can possibly work with. Skin safe right out the bottle. You can use it very easily. And one of the most beautiful things you can do for your intestinal tract is chamomile tea at night. And I say at night because I do it right before bedtime. And what's really cute is I've started doing it with my daughter because she just gets really excited when we make tea. And we kind of customize with our tea bags and our herbs and our ingredients. Like we kind of customize our blends. And so do it before bed because, and I actually take mine to bed and I'll drink it like as I'm like, at my bedside with my nightstand, because that gives your body a chance to work with it when you're in a resting state. So anything you really want to work with, love that. Cynthia said it's her nightly toddy. It's, if you make a ritual out of it and you can flavor it and make it beautiful for yourself, you can put beautiful, local, organic, wild honey, or you can, add stevia to it. There's all kinds of things you can do. You can even make it spicy. You can add a little cayenne to it. If you're going to drink yours in the morning, you could add a little cayenne to it, a little lemon juice, whatever you like. But I think it's one of the most powerful things you can work with. Now, one of the Latin names is matricaria. Matricaria is one of the Latin names for the womb, for the maternal womb, for the uterus. If you think about matria means mother in Latin. If you think about the maternal line, we still call it the matrilineal, the maternal line. So matricaria is a healer, a caregiver of the mater, of the mother. Did you know that? That's pretty flippin' nuts. Do you know why our ancient Roman and Greek ancestors called it the mother? They believed, and remind me to come back to you because we're going to have a couple of additional oils coming up in a bonus session. So remind me to come back to that. We need to post it in your group with the date. And yet it's male. I know. Now, in some cases, when I checked in about this for myself, because it does have a heavy solar energy, chamomile, it looks like the sun. I definitely feel like it's kind of Leo energy. And Leo is a masculine astrological sign, right? So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm okay with that, with the common wisdom that it's a masculine herb. I'm okay with that. But our Latin ancestors, now there are two names for chamomile because there's German and there's Roman. The Roman chamomile is quite different. It's sharper, okay? The German chamomile is softer, and that's what you have, both in the tin as well as in the essential oil that you get today as your special gift with your purchase. Christine says, when making your own teas, do all the ingredients need to be dried or can they come fresh from the garden? Both is really nice. Now, sometimes your dried ingredients are going to actually be a little stronger for you in teas than your fresh ingredients. And so that's one thing to think about in terms of whether you use fresh or dried. But I think there's something really beautiful about cooking with herbs from your garden, which certainly are going to come to you in a fresh form. But you can also take them and hang them in your kitchen and make them into little, you know, little posies and stuff in your kitchen, which I think is beautiful too. Did you know, more fast facts about your chamomile. Did you know that above all herbs, the Egyptians prized chamomile most of all? They thought it protected and soothed the mind, body, and spirit. This is true. It is a skin conditioner. It is anti-aging. And I believe, truly, that it is anti-aging both on the outside of your skin and your body and anti-aging on the inside too, which is why I think the tea is, you know, anything anti-inflammatory, think about what that means. It's inflammation, actually, that causes most of the signs of aging. And it's because we have a highly acidic diet in the West. So our bodies are highly acidic, which is highly inflammatory, which is why we all have autoimmune diseases. If we were all alkaline in our pH, which I'm trying to teach you how to do that, and we worked with some of these anti-inflammatories on the inside, we would actually create more of an alkaline environment for our bodies, and we would see the number of autoimmune diseases being contracted, we would see that number go down. I think in some pretty dramatic ways. And so that's partly what I'm working on, not just for myself, but thinking about our entire culture. And, you know, when I talked to a gastroenterologist last week, speaking of anti-inflammatories, and you know what that doctor told me? That they are seeing in children, autoimmune disease rates in children have gone up about 100% in terms of presenting with autoimmune symptoms of all kinds in the last 5 years. What? I'm sorry, what? And yet nobody's going, I'm changing all the water in my house to alkaline water. I'm actually having a filter installed here at Sage Goddess, and I'm having a filter installed at my house. Because the number one, you know, we all drink water. And if you change your water to alkaline water, that's reducing immediately the amount of acid that's in what you're drinking and what you're cooking and everything else. Hello, Kangen water. That's exactly right, Heather. So I'm changing, because actually there's a Kangen, not a headquarters, but there's an entire, one of the bases of their company is actually just behind Sage Goddess here in Torrance. And we're really lucky we've got Kangen water right next door. Okay, and then let's talk about, I think I mentioned everything I wanted to mention to you about chamomile. Now, when your chamomile dram arrives, remember to use code SUCCESS today if you spend $10. When yours arrives, one of the experiments I would love for you to do, if you use a moisturizer or an eye cream, add a few drops of your chamomile absolute that I'm sending you today. Add a few drops to your moisturizer and your eye cream. It is an emollient, it softens your skin, and it reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. And so if you do nothing else, a couple of drops in there. Seriously, probably the best $10 you will spend is $10 to get chamomile essential oil today. Or absolute, I should say. Yeah, so I'm going to be teaching a class on alkalizing your diet. I think we've got it scheduled, don't we, for the end of May? Well, I think we have it scheduled. If you like your wrinkles, you should totally own your wrinkles. You should totally own it. Yeah, I can't remember. It is scheduled. It's not this Friday, but it's soon. Is it 5:31? Yeah, I think it is the last day of May. I think is our ideal weight class. That's right. Okay. So let's talk about alkanet root, last but not least in our gorgeous lineup for tonight. I hope you loved this set. This was, I have to say, this is one of my favorites. Next month is just as special. Next month is all about that sandalwood. Truly, it's all about it. Okay, alkanet root is related to borage, which is a major healer. I mean, alkanet root is a very interesting, it's actually a dye root that's used to color lots of different things. And you can color lotions with it. You can color your hair with it. You can color clothes with it. It's a, no, seriously, you guys, I mean, the whole theme for tonight, by the way, I mean, everything I'm talking about, both in terms of weight loss and you know, anti-aging stuff and everything, is you got to find what works for you. And I promise you that you have your own ideal weight, you have your own ideal beauty regimen, you have your own ideal view of yourself. And if you are happy with you, I actually want you not to change a thing. You know, for me, I had to make some changes because I didn't feel my best, and I wanted to. You know, I'm like, I'm 43. I want to feel 43. I don't want to feel, you know, older. And I was starting to feel kind of tired and weighed down, and so that's why I made the changes I made. Yeah. Okay, so alkanet root. This is alkanet. We talked about this. It's sort of a, and you can just, you know, just inhale just a little bit so you can get the scent of it. Mine is stuck. Here we go. What do you think? It's interesting, right? It just has a little bit of a nutty kind of, it's a very faint, almost a chocolatey. Aw, yeah. Yeah, it's very earthy. It's got a little bit of a chocolatey kind of scent to it. Okay, so did you know, lots of fun things about alkanet. Okay, the Latin is Alcana tinctoria. Alcana tinctoria, and it is from Greece and Italy, like I shared. This is one of our strong plant teachers, and one of the things, now, you know, here I want you to hear this. You ready? Here's the list of what, you know, my extensive research said alkanet does. Are you ready? This is where it gets a little crazy. Alkanet heals sores. It heals sore muscles and muscle aches, bruises, cough, depression. It will break a fever. It heals ulcers. It stops itching. It brings luck, success, and can also heal a snake bite or a bee sting. I don't even know what I didn't mention. I don't even know. It does everything. I mean, like literally, like, what doesn't it do? It is a very powerful hoodoo ingredient for money spells. Did you know this? I mean, like, and when I'm saying it's like big in hoodoo, I'm saying if you go to New Orleans, you are going to find alkanet. There are alkanet perfumes. There are alkanet incenses. There's one called, it's like Fast Fire and Luck, or Fast Fire or something in New Orleans. I've seen it every time I've gone. And that is a blend mostly of patchouli with alkanet, which is for money. But they think of it as like a gambler's luck kind of thing. So this is alkanet. It is sun sign Taurus. It is feminine. It is ruled by Venus, and the element is water for alkanet. No, seriously, I was like, what else does it do? Okay. Alkanet root, you can do a lot of really fun things. And if you grind it and incorporate it into an incense, the whole incense will turn into this like beautiful wine Merlot kind of colored magic powder. And that's why they call it, I think, Fast Fire, because it's kind of red, like fiery kind of looking red. You can sprinkle it in your garden, in the southeast part of your garden, to attract money into your home. You can also sprinkle it by your front door to protect your home and bring prosperity to everybody who lives there. It does not contain chocolate. So Angela's asking about if she's allergic to chocolate, would this be okay for her? It smells like it, but it doesn't have it. So you would be very safe working with this one. Well, Sherry, I come to New Orleans once a year, and I always announce when I'm coming because it's nice to, we had a meetup there in October that some of the girls joined me for. It was very fun. We talked about perfume, and I brought presents, and so might do that again in the fall. The fall is my favorite time to come to in New Orleans because the weather's gorgeous and there's all the voodoo and the magic and it's in the air, you know. Okay, cool. So we're going to do a little meditation. You ready with your opoponax? Opoponax. If you have that, we're just going to do a 5-minute, but it's going to be a good one. You ready? Next year, you guys, when the books are coming out, I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling and book signings and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of you in person. And, you know, that's my favorite thing. I love teaching online, but I really am like a hugger, and I like to meet you in person and talk to you, and it's fun. And when we do, it's like we've known each other forever. I've never had an awkward meeting with anybody who's ever been in my classes. And part of it is, this is just who I am. So if you were to walk in the door right now, like, this is just kind of what you get. And I think that makes people feel like they can be authentic too. But it always feels like meeting my sister. It's like, there you are. It's very fun. I'm coming to Miami in December. So if I've got a good group in Miami, that might be a fun place to do a meetup. I'm coming right before the holidays to Miami. I have family in upstate New York too, so we've talked about that too. So there's lots of different things happening, but so cool. I know Austin's one of my favorite places on the planet. And I used to work in DC, in Maryland. I was head of global learning design for a company called the Corporate Executive Board in my private sector corporate days. And so I commuted from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., and I lived there for a week a month. And that was only 5 years ago, not that long ago. So, you know, I wish I had met all of you when I was there, you know, 12 weeks a year. I know. And I was all over Virginia and DC and Maryland, and I miss that kind of. I'll come back to Maryland. We've been talking about doing a little reunion for some of the folks that work together. So, and we are coming to Seattle too. That's on our radar too. We have some a client that we work with in Seattle. So when we do that, I will announce that too. And I do come to Houston sometimes. There's a lot of connections, so we'll have to meet each other up. Maybe if you can't come to me, I can come to you, which would be very cool. Okay, so I want you to anoint with your opoponax. Deeply inhale 3 times. 1, 2. Isn't it gorgeous? I mean, do you just love it? I don't know that there's an essential oil I love more. And there are companies that make beautiful opoponax candles. I don't know if they're real or synthetic, but I've often wanted to try them. So I would love to have a candle like this. It would cost an arm and a leg for me to make it because it would have to be pure. But I might make it because it's pretty special. Okay. So close your eyes. And so you can call a plant spirit in. So opoponax, we call you in, the essence and the medicine of your plant spirit. And we ask you tonight to take us back. Take us back to the Tierra Madre. Take us back to the Mother Earth where you came from, this beautiful plant, this beautiful tree, this resin. Take us back to all of those exotic, beautiful locations. Take us back to that West African coast. Take us back to, your ancient and grounded and mysterious roots. Take us back to that dry, magical continent. Take us back to the origins of civilization, because that's really, when you're talking about West Africa, you're talking about the anchors of both civilization and mythology. So to the plant spirit of opoponax, we call upon you to take us back to your Mother Earth. Take us back to that beautiful African coastline. Take us back to ancient Egypt. Take us back to the wisdom. Take us back to the inner knowing and the trust that we had in those ancient days. Show us something of our own past life here. Do we have a connection to this oil? Is there something familiar in it to you? And if so, let the plant spirit take you back to that West African coastline. Let it take you back to those hills and valleys, to the water's edge. Let it take you back to the dry, arid, beautiful expanse of majestic land, which is truly what West Africa represents: its majesty, its royalty, its regalness, its brilliance, its civilization, its growth, its creation, its manifestation, its mystery. It is potential contact with extraterrestrials and other civilizations. Our West African ancestors, all the way back to ancient Egyptians who built the pyramids, were in deep alignment with star beings and outer galaxies. And so take us back, help us to remember who we are. Help us to remember what we know. Sometimes I really don't think that, we're learning anything. I think we're just remembering things. And if you look at it that way, you won't be so stressed out by it. We get stressed out and go, how will I remember? I got to write it all down. That's what we say when we're learning something that we've never known. When we're remembering something that we've actually lived, then there's none of this, I got to remember, let me write it down. Then it becomes, I'm going to live into this. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to let my soul show me what I need to know. I'm not going to worry about my ego mind. I'm not going to worry about my waking mind or my monkey mind. I'm going to let my soul guide me back. And that's where, when you hear people saying, giving thanks to the plants, and I do it. I mean, when I pick them, when we send the kids, when you use the kids, you should be singing and making offerings to your Mother Earth. And I will tell you, when you garden, that is the biggest offering that you can give. Using the land around you. And like I said, even if you have one potted plant, you are still a gardener. And using life to create life, to nourish yourself, to heal others. Even if it's just one rosemary plant that you grow, that you take cuttings of and give to people and tell them to dry it and burn it, and sage for health. I mean, that is you honoring the earth in all her majesty in a way that is so simple and true. It's like, what's true? Now, if you do the meditation I just guided you through, laying down with this oil in a quiet, dark room with a couple of candles burning, and you ask that plant teacher to take you back to its Tierra Madre, to its Pachamama, to its Mother Earth, it will show you where it came from. And I mean, even just in that couple of minutes, my soul was just, it was almost like a sidewinder. Do you know what I mean? Like over the desert, I could feel my body sort of like winding across like this open expanse of sand and dirt and dust and time. And I think that's where that came from. So my job tonight was to try to bring that to life for you as much as I can. And I will say, people always, there are a lot of places to buy stones, and there are a lot of places to buy essential oils and herbs. Part of the reason why I hope you love Sage Goddess and come back here is that my goal is to not just like give you a thing, but to teach you about how to be in relationship with the thing. A stone isn't just a stone. It needs to be worked with. It needs to be programmed. It needs to be listened to. It needs to be asked questions. It needs time to answer you. It needs time to get to know you. It needs to connect with your other crystals. A plant medicine, an essential oil, an herb needs to be in dialogue with you. This is a life, Like this has a spirit. If you believe like I do, if you believe in the concept of, forests and Mother Earth as a pharmacy, which she is. But look what we've done. I mean, we've warped ourselves to the point where people think marijuana is a terrible thing. I mean, are you serious? Cannabis is a plant teacher. But anything can be destroyed. Anything can be made into something ugly. Anything can be, relegated to some status. And yet we've got people on opioids and painkillers that I don't even understand. I don't understand. How do they function? How do they live? How do they drive? I don't know. But then, somebody mentions marijuana and Gem Haven, people lose their flipping minds. That's the culture we live in right now, where we have taken sacrament plant teachers and we've vilified them and then said, but here's this painkiller that's, it's good for you. It's like, what? That's synthetic madness. So I am on my soapbox a little bit, but part of part of, you know, I mean, it's up to you how you feel about the plants. This is just me. But I do think we've lost our way. We don't know how to use plants in a sacred way, and so we abuse them and then we vilify them. We don't know how to take care of our plants. We had, I'm going to end with this story actually. And thank you for that. I appreciate that you see us and that you see what we're trying to do, because we're trying to help. You know, like we really are. Opium comes from poppy, but the opioids are synthetics. You know, it's like, it's very scary. So we had an original painkiller in the poppy. And look, poppy can be abused too. Everything can be abused. I mean, the coca leaf in Peru is sacred. It is sacred. It is etched in your chimpy stones. Can you take that and ruin it? You sure can. Can you take that and abuse your body? You can. But what I want to tell you is there used to be a white sage kind of patch in one of our local, you know, kind of sanctuary park spaces, not too far from LA. It was like an hour east of here, which is right about where the white sage starts to grow. It's got to be a little more arid, and where I live is near the ocean, so we're very humid. But just about an hour east of here, there used to be quite a lot, like maybe the size of my classroom here in Sage Goddess, which is a huge room. Do you know it's gone? It was actually there and thriving when Sage Goddess moved to LA, which was 3 years ago. It was there and thriving. It's gone, and it's gone because no one went out there and said, if you trim, or put a sign up that said, if you trim more than 1/4 to 1/3 of a white sage plant at any given time, the mother plant, it dies. Did you know that? So we don't know how to work with our medicina. You know, we don't know how to work with Salvia apiana. When we see the plant, we bow and we pray, and we go and we cut, and we make sure that we don't take more than 1/3. You know, these are in the native traditions. We've been taught. We have been taught, and so I'm trying to keep a lot of these oral traditions alive, because I do think when you go and find a white sage plant, now you're going to know, oh, don't take more than 1/3 of it because it'll die. And then if everybody knew that, then, you know, we wouldn't have lost 1/4 to 1/2 acre of beautiful white sage, which is an endangered plant species in California. It is against the law to go to public land and pick it. It is so endangered. That's right. So anyway, let's love our plants. I know. And giving thanks. So I am going to open our circle. I'm going to say thank you for being here with me tonight. We went about 1 hour and 40 minutes, a little bit over, but I really didn't want to cut our conversation short. I want to make sure I could respond to all of the questions that you had. So thank you for being here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. You have until midnight for free chamomile, absolute, which is this one. So all you have to do is spend $10 on sagegoddess.com, say success in your comments, and I will send it to you. And then you will have the matria. You will have the healer of the feminine system, both emotionally and physically, which is a good thing to have. Keep it in your medicine cabinet when it comes. It's a love gift from me to you. All right, you guys, have a great night. Mwah. I will see you very soon. I enjoyed this time with you. I hope you did too. Much more to come. Did you hear about the meditation sessions? This is the last thing I want to tell you. Starting next Wednesday, the 24th of May, once a week, every Wednesday at 5 p.m., I'm doing a cosmic comfort meditation. Did you see the invitation today? I posted it in our group. Please join, and here's my request. Please share on your page. Please share with your friends. This is a live, free event. The pure intention of it is to bring comfort to our planet. And the more people we have, the more powerful it's going to be. My intention is that this will be the longest and most powerful series of meditations that we've ever done at Sage Goddess. I was asked to do this in Ayahuasca Journey. I was given very specific guidance that it was to be 7 weeks, that it was to be promoted in 7 communities, which is our groups. There's all these numbers of 7. And so this is about bringing us back into divine alignment. So please, please, please share. It will, of course, be recorded, and you can watch it later. So if the timing doesn't work, still please share, because people can go back and watch the recording. And I think it will be just as powerful as the live. So thank you for sharing that in advance. 5 p.m. Pacific time next Wednesday, May 26th. It's called Cosmic Comfort. So if you can't find the link, if you search Cosmic Comfort in Facebook, it's the first event that comes up, and then just click going, and then you can click to share it on your page, or you could just cut and paste the link and put it. But I would love for the people that you love to be able to attend, and because it's an open public event, I think that's really fun. So I look forward to that. So that's the next time I will see you. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, everybody. I'll see you soon.